Thank you, everyone, for coming to our very first Leadership Unlocked session in Minnick. We are really excited to be operating this whole leadership series in 2025. We're Wednesday every month from 2 to 3. As you can see, we're operating hybrid. We love that you can be here. We understand that you may this is meant to be very interactive. Charlie will take questions if you have them involved. Speaking on the topic, if you are on Zoom, please use the chat function. I will be monitoring that in the back of the room, and then we'll ask them when I'm able to. I know. And so, without any more, back to Charlie Minnick. Let me cue up your presentation, and then you can go ahead and get started.
Right. That looks like Phoenix. All right. Yes, but since I survived, I went to Phoenix. Go back, it's like 3 degrees. But oddly enough, the highlight of Phoenix was In-N-Out Burger. You ever been to In-N-Out Burger? Oh, yeah, animal fries and bus. Yeah, you got to. So, all right. So we're going to talk a bit about. So it's been great. So I started talking with Andy and Matt like last. Because my goal is to just do things in my life at this point that mean a lot to me. As you look at community stuff, is this. It's about how do you give back to the community in some sort of meaningful way, and anything that has to do with the kids. That's probably my main focus at this point in life. So we talked about this. We'll have the session out for 12 months. I got lots of really cool people lined up to talk about lots of really cool things. And each topic will be different, so each topic will be different. So, but this is where we're going to start with. So I've been at this process since the 80s. So I'm going to date, I know I'll date myself a couple times throughout this thing. So we talk about what have I learned along the way. Some of it's a school hard knocks. You know, some of it, I think you learn sometimes when things are tough. So let's start with this.
Not working.
It doesn't work. You just dry it from back there. What's that? Yeah, that's fine. So we're trying to avoid this at all costs. Sometimes we'll be afternoon, you know. So we're going to avoid this at all costs. I promise you. No. Just a little bit. So I'll tell you a little bit about me. In a nutshell. So over here's my grandkids. They live in New Hampshire. Down here is when we had the camps up in Ashford. We did those little weaving blankets that we took to the hospital for kids. These young ladies were very kind and patient with me because I had about 10 bumps that day. So they were really kind and patient. That was a lot of fun. In 2013, we took 21 kids over spring break to help with the Hurricane Sandy cleanup, which was probably one of the most impactful things I'll ever be a part of. So we got out there. We know people. I mean, there's people who entire houses just got washed into the ocean. Picked it up, just washed it out. So we tried to help clean up some stuff. So they were like, so you came from Iowa, rode 21 hours on a bus to help us. I mean, it was just emotion. It was very cool. So this is probably one of the coolest things I've ever done. I'll show it. I think you see them. So we worked on houses. So everybody, all the kids that went, this is a piece of a house that everybody signed. So I have this at home in frame. So this is just a little memorabilia of going out there and what we tried to accomplish. So it was really, really cool. So, so we had on campus store, we had a foreign exchange. She was from Germany. And it was pretty cool. We still keep in touch with her. She played soccer and professionally what they've been able to do is write a textbook. The 5 functions of effective major. So that was kind of so we did lots of things, but again, to me, it's about how do I give back for all these years. So how do I do that? So okay. So here's the tidbits. I'm a firm believer that leadership is a skill set and a process, not a position. So maybe you work with people, and we'll talk about, I have lots of stories to share. So maybe you have if you think about that, there might be a picture of somebody who pops in your head, who has maybe had a leadership title, but none necessarily the skill set or process to get things done. Another thing I found over the years is vulnerability is good. So what do you mean by vulnerability? It means that as a leader, there are some days I don't have all the answers, nor do I have all the questions. So I think you have to admit that. So what do? You surround yourself with good, hardworking, smart people who are going to be open and honest and help you think about those things. We'll go through a little bit, but one thing you'll hear throughout this is none of us is as smart as all of us. I'm an enormous believer in that. Enormous. And one thing I think to gauge people is this. So that's this question all the time. So I love to do focus groups with students, employees, whatever it is. So the question is this. If you were king or queen for the year, what processes, procedures, things should we implement or do that will best help you to support customers, students, whoever? Thing is, I'm a firm believer too that there is so much energy and positivity in our organizations, but we have to tap into it. There's so many ideas, but you have to give people an avenue to do that. Okay? And then here's my no sunshine rule. It's really quite simple. This is you don't blow sunshine on my tailpipe, I don't blow it up yours, and we talk to each other, not about each other. How many times have you got to a point where, and sometimes it's usually the story of the letter for people chirp. So it's the no sunshine rule. We talk to each other, not about each other. Let's work through that process. So I think that's what happens in meetings. People know I go, this is, yes, at the ground rules. Here's the ground rules. Let's talk to each other, not about each other. Both down to trust, we talk a lot about trust. So that's a couple of big things to think about. All right. So leading, leading easy. So think about times of great change, all that sort of stuff. And where you ever been through mergers, acquisitions, changes, all that kind of stuff? It is tiring. It's tiring. The unknown can be tiring. All those type of things. So it's really, really hard when things are tough. You ever heard the word soft skills? What's that mean? Everyone knows what do you think soft skills? What's it mean? It talks about leadership skills are called soft skills. Team skills are called soft skills. I'm a firm non-believer. They're much more complex skills than they are soft skills. There's nothing soft about working with human beings. Nothing soft about. So I think they're much more complex. So I am not fan of the word soft skills. So. All right. Close. Anybody hear basketball now? Elite Eight, you ever heard that? So that's what we're talking about. Some of these lessons, I want to talk some lessons over time. So here's the 8 we're going to talk about today. Attitude matters a lot. You have to be courageous, form effective relationships, but we don't complacent. Say thank you. Don't take yourself too seriously. Excuse my double negative for all my English people out there. You cannot not communicate, and you gotta have balance. So that's the 8 we're gonna talk about. She's pretty happy. You know, attitude matters a lot. So she's got that figured out. So I think it looks in the mirror. So when you look in the mirror, so what do you generally see? You see a smiling face. You see serious face, sad face, mad face. So when you look in the mirror, what do you generally see? Because years ago, I used to do sales training. And when we did the phone stuff, we would put a mirror right next to the phone. If anybody's been through that conversation process, we have to look yourself in the mirror when you're talking on the phone. Because how that comes, how you look is like phone a lot. So we did that lots of times. So what do you see? And a bad attitude's like bad cold. You ever been around those people who, if they come $50 to be mad and find $100 on the floor? Those windy whiners, they're Saturday Night Live fans. I mean, and it's easy to catch, and other people are just worried. Oh, but here's my take on this. I'm not going to give you permission to impact my attitude. I'm not. Because I think that people negatively impact my attitude, I have to give them permission to do that. And I don't do that anymore. You know, we don't have good days, bad days, up days, down days. So we ever got days where, I swear to God, anybody gives you more crap than you'll be victims? There's going to be bloodshed. There's going to be all kinds of trouble. Anybody gives me some more stuff today, there's going to be trouble. Okay? And I think it's okay to have those days. So it's okay to just take it to pity bill, just a little better. And I think part of what you have to do is how do you pull yourself up? To yourself? I think we'll talk later. We all agree on this. So I'm a believer in find a mentor, be a mentor. So who can help you pull yourself up? I had this lady in class. This was years ago. She was really smart. The man was just like that. Something was chirping on her every week. So I'm like, you know, I just gotta say, because sometimes feedback's what we need to hear, not what we always want to hear. So one class there, she goes, I think that's this question. I go, is it me? Or are you just habitually? Right? And here's what we went with this. She's like, I go, here's why I asked that. Reason is because that attitude you're portraying will prevent you from being successful in should you want. So, I mean, I used to say it, but she's like, I think she was just, I think she was just unhappy about that stuff. But so find out what makes you happy. And yeah, she was like that, but she gave me like, here's why I'm not just trying to think to you, but how we portray stuff. That's how we do it. All right. So you got to figure, so are you this? Anybody of the Winnie the Pooh fans? Or are you an ego that's coming next? So are you an ego or are you a digger? How do you generally? We all have those ego days. Okay. But in my life, I stay away from characters. It's exhausting. Tiring and exhausting. Like, man, you're killing me. So I stay away from you. Sometimes you have to work with them because you do. But if I have a choice, it will be yours for me. I have like a business. Okay. Next was is you gotta be courageous. You gotta back in for courage. Okay. Courage is not the absence of fear, but rather the judgment that something else is more important than fear. So if you ever started a new job, you know, that could be fearful. But you believe that, hey, you know what? Something else is more important. It's a new job, it's a new career, new opportunity. Have you maybe moved across the country, maybe moved something like that? Have you ever gone back to school? That can be fearful because I will talk about that a little bit because you just don't have the answers. So it's a little fearful about that. Sometimes you have to take a leap of faith without the answers. supervisors. So I think they can focus on what's really important among other things. Sometimes that means having the courage to relentlessly pursue truth, even at the cost of personal pride or vulnerability. You have to put yourself out there in service of building something everyone can be proud of. It's not just about you. We'll talk about this. It's just about you, I leaders. Struggle. You ever work with people? It's I. We want that. And I think effective leadership really is too about its leaders, powers, and the situation. So I think if you have 10 people that report to you, they can make your life very miserable. So how do you engage the hearts and minds of people? So it's about these type of things. How do you pursue truth, even if it's cost of personal pride sometimes? Again, you have to make know everything. And I think one of the worst things that happens, you ever had an idea, and all of a sudden the leader becomes their idea? Good, I think I've heard that idea. They would mind, So just get so sometimes you got to put your pride aside, but it's all about building something that can be a problem. All right. First, what it takes to stand up and speak. Courage is also what it takes to sit down and listen. Sometimes you can move on. I don't think you have to be the front person. Let other people take responsibility, take the lead, all those type of things. Sometimes it takes a lot to sit down and listen. My dad, I was told there's greasy and 2 ears in one mouth. You should listen twice as much as you should talk. And it's hard sometimes to sit down and listen, but it's courage to do that. I think courage and trust are hand in hand. I think trust is the fundamental thing that makes it organizational success. There's a great book. If you ever read a great book, it's called 5 Dysfunctions of a Team. It's a really very, it's a fabulous book. Lady takes over this team. You can read about 2 hours. And these books are crazy. And one of the people she has to lead is the guy who used to lead the team, and now he's part of the team. But I think it takes trust to stand up and say stuff, stand up and be honest. I think that's just critical to say what needs to be said. And I think I always tell people, trust is like a grade point average. It's tough to build and easy. Because think about somebody who you might have trusted in your life and it kind of stuck to you. Is it harder for that person to get back in once they get out? Because people's words and actions don't connect. I believe we're going to be changing when you see the world. That's why we do all the service learning stuff. That's fantastic. We did lots of stuff. We went to homeless shelters in Chicago. We handed out meals to homeless people living on the streets. It was stuff. We did a lot of trash sort of when the tornado came through Washington, Illinois, right before Thanksgiving. So we went down there 2 days later. It was pretty powerful stuff. I mean, it's just people are sitting there, and then we went up to one by Rochelle, and it was the saddest thing. It's this old couple that had been in the house for generations. It was nothing. Just amazing. I mean, that sort of stuff. Change might change in art. So I think you want to be in change. Be positive, make the world better. You can make it better if you found it. Cool. All right. One of the factors were relationships. So have you ever heard the idea that people in an organization make a difference? I think if you go one step further, it's the relationships that people have in the organization that make a difference. You don't have to be big buddies with everybody and all that kind of stuff, but you can have effective working relationships with people. I don't think you have to control relationships. I mean, I always believe we all get where we are, and I think there's somebody somewhere beneath us. I'm not a huge fan of the self-made person theory, because I think we've all had opportunities Plus, I mean, years ago. Well, the first course I ever taught, we go way back, was when I used to work at a cosmetology school. But there's my weird job in the past. So I used to do admissions for cosmetology. So first class I ever taught more than like 3 decades ago was a resident class. To about 6 people. And I got down and you know what? This is real. And I think at that point, passion and my career connected. I think if you have that happen, that's awesome. So that was in the first class that I taught. Outside of that was when I worked at Ambrose for about 10 years. I taught a principles marketing class. Because I connected with someone who I let her know this is what I wanted to do. So she helped me get so find a mentor, be a mentor. She was just awesome, helped me get started, and then 200 some odd classes. Here we are. And I think the opportunities to challenge people, much like dynamite, the powers on the inside, which you have to let things. There's so much untapped talent. So much. People who are underutilized. There's just so much talent. That's why relationship thing is. That's nothing else. I beg you to get to know people. Okay. I'm going to help people with this if you don't know them outside the camera. So when we have it on Wednesday, after we move from the campus out there, there's probably 200 people. Well, the first things I want to do was get to know people. So I set up a 10-minute meeting with everybody at work. And well, first of all, I'm like, what is this guy? You know, it's like, why does, you know, everybody think there's some sort of ulterior motive. I just wanted to get some. And then when we got there, they saw this, yeah. So the early people were like, it's okay. I'm not going to beat them up. I just want to get to know people. But how can you do these things? It was just playing with people like, there's nobody really done it before. So people like, just back up to. Here's this guy coming out here. He wants to meet with everybody. Just get to know. Oh, relationships matter. That's, you know, I've worked with some really people over the years. That's how I've gotten so many opportunities is because I work with really. And that's at this point in my life, is how do I help other people get what they want? That's critical to me. Is how do I help other people get what they want? Because so many people help me. I want to. So relationships matter. Lots of them. Okay. Don't become complacent. Say, don't become complacent because things get worse. Rather busy because things get better. It's about attitude so much. Yeah, I don't want to do anything. I screwed up. Well, maybe. There's a great book. It's called Good to Great. It's a classic. Jim Collins. He talks the greatest obstacle from the nemesis to great is good. So what happens is become okay. Okay. But we don't push ourselves, believe in ourselves enough, so we end up great. And it's good. And college kids used to call it C's get degrees. It's okay, you know, 2.0 gets down the door. Well, maybe you think about that. Okay. So don't become push yourself, grow yourself, put yourself in an uncomfortable situation, not dangerous, but uncomfortable. Stretch yourself. I always try to make sure I volunteer if like weird things are coming down the pipe. There's a brand new initiative that's working. It's going to be brilliant. Weird sort of dynamic. So I'm like, get me in. So I love doing cool things. Just to see, I love building things. I love taking things from scratch. I love when people say no and they. But push yourself. So you get new skills, competencies, personal growth, all those type of things. I just think you need to be a participant. get off the porch, those type of things. So don't become, don't become just okay with them. Push yourself, grow yourself, read some, know whatever. So don't become complacent. Don't become okay with them. Then you're just going to be in this okay land. I've seen it there with self-fulfilling prophecy. People get like, you tell Johnny, you know what, Johnny, you're no good at math. Eventually, Johnny hears it enough. Johnny is not good at math. But what's the other one? Talk about this, you have this positive. You know what? Johnny becomes more of that. So it comes with ways to but so we come, they said, don't make self-fulfilling prophecy. Very good. Well, say thank you. Lots of ways to say thank you. And I think studies have shown the most sought after non-monetary reward in organizations is thank you. A genuine, honest thank you. Not just thanks. Honest and sincere. People need to know they matter. So years and years ago, I worked at Ambrose. I developed a employee orientation program. Fun stuff. So everybody was in there. Maintenance people, the faculty people, administrative, so wide range of people. So what's their service done? So the guys work. Some of these guys were like, yeah, but we just cut the grass. We just take out the garbage. Okay? I go, let's talk about that a little bit more. So what happens if you don't show up for your job for 3 weeks? What could happen to people who want to strike? So like, so in some ways you have more to work on a day basis than some other people from urban. So what you do matters. Matters to the organization, matters to the people. So I think they love with a better saying. People just need to matter. What they do matters. What they bring to the table matters. Find people doing something right. Walk away and try to find people screwing up. Especially, this whole work from home has been weird for me. It was about for over 40 years I went somewhere. Now past 4.5 years of working. So that's been kind of a weird sort of thing. If you work in an office, even online, if you get to a point where all you do is come out of your office when they kick somebody's butt, well, that's not good. Like some people doing something right, for goodness sake, and acknowledge it. I appreciate you. I'm going to make you commit at the end to appreciate people. So you have to commit to the end. So here's a great example. So I'm really going to date myself here. Really going to date myself. I was teaching a class at Ambrose at the time. And this guy worked in Cedar Rapids. And he goes, I have the coolest story I have to tell you. Man, I love those stories. So he worked at this place. And this lady that worked with the CEO, like Brooks had done. So I assume everybody was. I go to younger crowds, sometimes I go. So we're going to make this. So in those days, if you wanted to run us tickets, had to kind of stand. Now you wait. You get in line and take a bachelor and turns. You gotta go wait in line. So he knew how much Brooks had done that. So he went and stood in line himself to buy her a ticket, make sure she got the stage. Did you have to do that? That community something pretty cool. Because he went and stood in line himself to get her tickets. Talk about saying thank you in a meaningful way. There's lots of ways he could have did it. Lots of ways he could have did it. But he went out and bothered him. So that's pretty cool. I mean, you don't do that. Now you get in line. Unless you couldn't go with Taylor Swift. Age groups. So let's examine. So say thank you in a meaningful way. Because people really need to know that. There's a school of thought, it's called the matter theory, where people tend to persist and do better if they have someone's attention, they have someone's interest, someone cares about them. They know they matter, and people tend to be more engaged. They know they matter. All right, next. Don't take yourself too seriously. I've seen this way too much, way too much. And quite frankly, I've worked in academics as long as I have. You could put this on capitals. Some people take themselves way too seriously. So, leadership. I think it's about you, you're crazy. It's not about. I think good leaders, when things go not so well, they look inside first, as opposed to blaming some external something. If things go well, let's look externally. What did my people do to help us? And so inside versus outside. Maybe we all work with people who are looking at it. Okay. Leadership cannot be so intimidation, fear, and rigidity. That's assault, not leadership. It's assault. And we probably have people who think they can intimidation, do this or else. That's what stuff. If you don't do this, this is going to happen to you. Or people are so rigid that, how are we going to they live in the, we've always done it that way, bro. So rigid, they're so tight together. So if you're going to live in this world, of course, be with you. When you take yourself so seriously, the way the guy is marketing is. I just don't take yourself too seriously. We were at campus doing some wacky stuff. I sat in dunk tanks. I had to wear a rabbit suit all day one day. And there's pictures somewhere. The internet's a big thing. And then I got my hair cut that day, or I cut the hair of another guy in my rabbit suit. Don't take yourself too seriously. So, yeah, there's pictures on there or something. Maybe that's for another time. But just don't take, have fun, laugh at yourself. I think you have to laugh at yourself. So just life's too short. I think the older I've gotten, and the stuff will change like that. So have fun. Smile and learn. Just don't take yourself too seriously. All right. Sums it up. Surround yourself with people who take their work seriously, but not themselves. I've worked with a lot of people who do really great work, but they're just a lot of fun to be around. Have fun with those stuff, as opposed to people who take themselves too seriously. Come on, lighten up. So I think that's take your work seriously. Laugh yourself, laugh a little, have fun with a little, all those type of things. Yeah, I don't know how I got involved with some of that. But I did. I think I just I got something. So don't take yourself too seriously. Have fun, laugh at yourself. I think you have to do all that kind of stuff. So don't do that. You cannot not communicate. So excuse it up, man. Every behavior is a form of communication by wholeheartedly. What else? People believe the messenger long before they believe the message. So think about this. So maybe if you think about a person who generally might be a little aggressive. So everybody might has this picture of somebody. Maybe two people. So that person could be telling you the gospel truth. And you're not going to believe them because they're terrible. So it's hard to believe the message when you don't believe the person's message. So I think we believe the message, wonderful message. And I've seen that way too often. There's do and don't do, say and don't say, communicate value. So if you do something, it's what. If you don't do something, it's value. You'll do what you said you would do. Gets leaders into trouble when your actions and your words don't line up. So people don't, paying people, if you don't give people, empower people, all this type of thing, communicate the value that I don't trust you. I think that one of the coolest things leaders can do, and also myself, is that they have a choice. Give people a task to do it, but get the hell out of the way when I'm doing it. We used to call them helicopter parents, basically, but now we have those helicopter bosses in a way. For God's sake, let people go. I think you have to hire tough. Tough, good, smart, hardworking people. If a meaningful work to do, and get out of the way. And you're there to help and support them. Get out of the way. Let people do their job, for goodness sake. But what you do and what you don't do communicates what you value. True character and integrity comes from how a leader behaves. That's when nobody's watching. Remember, we talked about doing the right thing. I was telling you that ethical dilemmas. What if you were to do something? If we're to appear on the front page of the newspaper tomorrow, would you still do it? Look for everybody. I think that's how it, when nobody's watching, I think that's what true character. Always try to do. What else? Gotta have balance. Let's think about this for a minute. Go ahead. First person you have to effectively do yourself. And enormously, incredibly. How are you going to lead other people if you're all out of whack? How do you do that? That's pretty tough. So you've got to take care of yourself and find balance in yourself. So if you think about this, there's all multiple goals. There's only 160 hours a week, the more or less. That's what we have. So we always do, if you do it, that kind of plain match. So we start at 160. So you work 40 hours a week. Some quite more. So that leaves us 120. How many hours do you sleep? 7? A good day. So that's 49 hours a week. Goodness, that takes us down to 79 hours a week. How does work and sleep? So we're not a racing play. Does anybody have a friend, spouse, sister, brother, and uncle, boy, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever it might be? But somewhere in this mix, I'm supposed to take care of myself too. And happens. Then we start cheating on stuff. Oh, but only sleep 6 hours. Here, I got 7 hours back. So we start cheating on stuff. So think about all the rules we have in play. All those balls. It is not easy. You might have kids where you swear to God you're a taxi cab. So good job, kids. All you do is take the kids all over town. This is what basketball probably this time of year. They can get into softball, baseball, soccer, those type of things. Why can we do all of that, dude? So it's hard. I think we have to have some part. How do we prioritize that stuff? Some things do more than others. But it's a challenge. How do we balance it? I think that's one of the biggest challenges in organizational life. And if you ever had gone through a REV, not awful REVs reduction, of course, we get cut. The work didn't go away with it. People are gone. So now I got to do more at work, get the people to do the work. That puts us in struggle. But you have to find something that helps you keep in balance. So maybe it's not awful, so I think music is a good thing. If you have music on, I don't know, just gotta find out what that is. What's a balance for you? Everybody's different kinds. Everybody's different priorities. Mine's a little different because my kids they've all moved. But we're going through the little to one mark. And I did my MBA, my PhD back to back, so I was in school for almost 10 solid years. Had 3 little kids, worked full time, went back. I mean, you just have to put that balance. So, Stephen Covey, you heard sometimes, one of the people, that make your song. How are you going to have balance? Don't take care of yourself first. I implore you to do that. Find some time for yourself, whatever that looks like. I think part of it is we have to be a little more selfish. So how can I squeeze out an hour or 2 here, there? What's up? So what balance is hard? We only have 60 hours a week, you have 15 roles to play. All right, yeah, next. So to achieve balance, you become a person who not only gets things done, but also enjoys them. That's the coolest part, is doing something, it's done. And again, I'm so fortunate that my passion, my career. That's, I mean, I've worked. My first job, going back to Wisconsin. So I enrolled people. I sat through clinical, that's probably 5 years. It probably theoretically enrolled me, but not your practice. You wouldn't want me to touch any sort of code. But she's enjoying getting stuff done. Get things done, and I love doing it. You attract people to you, they want you to be on the team, they want to be on the team. I love those kind of people. They always seek out, and there's always people on the other, we have these ad hoc groups where we put people together with tasks and go, and you're like, oh no, person X is here. Anybody but them. Because you've had this experience with them, but sometimes it's like cool. You get stuff done, people attract you, put them on your team. That's just really cool. And part of balance is we have so much stuff to do. Part of the challenge is these godforsaken things. One of them crazy laptops, which means work is horrible. You take it with you. We used to have desktops and do this. We didn't have anything. But now it's like everything's portable. This is portable. That's portable. You know, how much information we get takes time from all these crazy sources. You know, people scroll and get that, at least when people see how that goes. You know, see what's going on. But there's so much to do. So you have to get that balance. But I implore you to take care of yourself. Whatever that is, whatever that looks like, whatever you enjoy. Some people enjoy retail therapy. Careful about that. Credit card bill, absolutely too much therapy. I think goes other folks. Then it's about stress and how to manage stress. Personally, for me, a little bit of stress with it. He's been going, he's on top of things. That's why I've always, in addition to my administrative stuff, still. So now, just so I do now, so I get oversee academic programs. Like we have a program in China that I oversee, which is really cool. Yeah, it was fascinating developing that. Of course, you know, we gotta meet with those folks at 1 a.m. nighttime because they have, you know, that kind of stuff is fun. So we just, that they do know is that, it's that kind of stuff. But it's all for balance. And like this kind of stuff, teaching kind of stuff, for me, it helps me with all this kind of stuff. Gets me out of that day-to-day administrative craziness. I love it. This is the fun stuff. So whatever it looks like to have achieve balance. So it's critical. So if we're talking this whole thing together, I love this. So you sow a thought, you an action. So in action, you read a habit. So a habit, you read character. So character, you read destiny. So those come thought, action, habit, character, destiny. It all starts with. And I think we have to help us push that kind of. Again, my hope, focus at this point in my life is how do I help other people? And I think a lot of where I've been, where am I at, where am I at? Because I know it's good. I'll probably start, I know the fourth quarter of my work on. So what do I do to help other people get what they want? And the most meaningful experience I had in my life have to do with how do I help other people? That's the most meaningful and memorable stuff to me. To some people, it's just a crazy little piece of work. To me, it's those 21 signatures that probably represent the most impactful thing I've ever been a part of. Of all things at home, I have a girl that went to school up here from Brazil, gave me this cool little change. You know, that kind of stuff. It all means something. I think, first of all, somebody took the time out to do that. It's pretty cool. But yeah, so just start investing. It's never too late to start doing stuff. Because I really didn't get into academics, and we all have those events that kind of shape our life. And here's what it did. Many years ago, I used to be a district manager for chain convenience. Does anybody work in retail? Oh my goodness. Wow. So I was a district manager for this chain convenience store. And one day I got a call. And a lot of those places, sometimes people work by themselves, which is not the best idea. I got a call that first worked at one of my stores staff. Like, holy crap. So I don't recently explaining to you how hard it was cleaning up the blood after somebody had been stabbed. I mean, there's got to be a better way. There just has to be a better way. So I was waiting for this back on. And then about 2 weeks later, it's the sign from above. I had a young lady working in our store, got a gun to put in her head. He goes, give me all your money. So those are my, get those aha moments that for me, I understand. So that's when I went back into the MBA thing. I got to teach a little bit. That doesn't, but it's that sort of loneliness that you like stabbed it, by the way. If you're cleaning up blood from when somebody got stabbed, stab. So for me, that's sort of this. And I've worked in Ireland. So we all have those aha moments. So maybe you have those aha moments that made you do what you're doing, make the shift, make the change. For me, that was it. And especially like we're so close together. And then the poor girl tried to come back to work and she sees people come around the corner at her. It was awful. She was young kid. So that was crazy. I mean, that was a little crazy. Got some guy selling drugs. That's me. Sat across the street watching. So I knew he was. So we busted him on the county. Like, oh, so all this stuff, like, there's gotta be a better way. There's has to be a better way. So that's when I started down this other path. Rest is but so here's the goal. So I encourage you to develop a personal mission statement. Does anybody have one? I do. Yeah, okay. Mine's really simple. That's to make a positive difference in the personal and professional lives of other people. That's my mission statement. So for me, that's what I try to do. Some days that falls short. So my goal is always to, how can I be tomorrow? How can I be 1% better Charlie than I was today? And I really don't prepare myself. That's the beatest sort of thing. I think, just be the best. How I can be the best I can be, or whatever that looks like. That's what feedback is. Yeah. Never forget that. So here's what we have to do. So you have to stand up. Stand up. And the folks online, I'll just trust you to stand up. We can't see you, but I'll trust you to stand up. So here's happy relationships. So we're doing like a pledge, okay? Remember the pledge of allegiance? So, sir. So you repeat after me. Simon says. So here it goes. So within the next week, yes, I will tell at least 2 people that you appreciate them and why. Okay. Now you made the pledge, and I get to. Now we're trusting a little bit. So that's your pledge, is that you're going to tell people that they matter to you. Why? Okay, that's really critical. Because it's amazing how, the other thing we've done at times is to go over the class, when I had class on Friday. We always said high five Friday. Okay. So it consists of 3 types. Candy. You know, it's like the word. High fives and a high five private song. So I always had a song. So they would let me pick it. Or they could pick it, but I had to write a very confused little song because, you know, I seem to keep that control. So that's what we, but that's what we did. So we had high five Friday song, but it was just, and just way to engage people, have fun with it, you know, all those things. So I encourage you to just tell people they matter to you. So, but that's what people, and one thing we would do is you could never pass on the good thing that happened. And I have 2, even have 10 of them. You got 1. People would try to pass. And the funny part was, people come up with crappy things much easier than the good things. The simple, well, here's what happens. When bad things happen, boy, tornado. Oh, good things. People are, I stop thinking about the good things. So, I've always had high five parties. And I always had this magic game. So I think simple acts, human kindness. If you make a difference, you don't have to sell it on. It's honest, it's genuine. You know, let people know you appreciate it. People get like, oh, because people just don't do that kind of stuff. So kindness matters. Just good to each other. So let's start with you. You talk about again, start with yourself. You gotta start with yourself. Start with yourself. Don't be scared. Taking care of yourself. So if you ever read an interesting book, it's called Everything I Need to Know About Learning. If you ever read the book, it's a cool book. So think about this. Think about any of these things and extrapolate them into adult terms, work world, family life. Think how the world might be. So here it is. That's all I need to know. Share everything. Play fair. Don't get me. Put things back where you found them. Clean up your own mess. Don't take things that aren't yours. Say you're sorry when you hurt someone. Wash your hands before you eat. Wash is always a good thing. I'm thinking we gotta flush the things that are wrong. So flush is a good thing. Warm cookies and cold milk are good. Look at balance life. Learn some, think some, draw, paint, sing, dance, play, work. Take a nap every afternoon. It's so funny. How many of you try to have kids take a nap? Now you're like, yo, God. You know, I was like, God, please take a nap. We were wonder. We'll see the second home cup. Jerry is going in. The roots go down, the plant goes up, and nobody really was born. This kind of sums it up. And it's still true, no matter how old you are. When you go out in the world, it's always better to hold hands and stuff. Right, you know, if we can take care of each other, I think the world is a better place. And we have no sugar craziness. So control what you control. I've given up, I've got to a point too that, you know what, some things I just can't control. It's a waste of psychological energy to try to control the things I can control. You gotta let it go. And it's hard sometimes. We just be good to each other, kind to each other. I think in our world, if we can have common sense, common practice, much better off. In our world. So be honest, be intentional in what you do. You want music creation. I think that's important. So you got one more. So no big nod at all. That's on the upside. Not really have this. Last but not least, this is what's American Sign Language. You know anything about American Sign Language? That's okay. So what he does is like this. So, emphatically, thank you. So, whenever I do things, that's always the last thing. It's just thank you for your time. Just walk me a little better. So now remember to go. Positive. I'm not going to get some kind of mission statement. I mean, I've had mine here. To describe what I'm watching. So, thinking, how do you want to live your life? How do you want to positive consider? Because leadership means there's no way you have to manage. The best part of organizations, everybody's different. Challenging part, it's everybody's different. How do we manage these? And I with this. I had a class one time, and it had almost 50-50 of 20-somethings, maps of 20-somethings. We talked about it. The question was this. I go, what do you want out of it? It's a simple question. And they came back and they both want the same thing. They voted yes or no. Respect. But they want both groups want respect. But it means something different depending on where. 20-somethings want respect for the new energy, you know, ideas, enthusiasm that brings to the process. 40-somethings want to respect for how they've grown the place, the wisdom they bring to the place, all that sort of stuff. So how do we meld what everybody wants, but we need something different to how we do that together. So me, I think the last thing would be separate these things. So I'm working with that, and it's amazing what happens when people change. So I think that's there. Good to you. Boom. So thanks for the quick insight. So the next one we'll do, which is real quick, is the dark side of leadership. So it's really interesting to talk about this kind of stuff. We'll talk about kind of shadows and why people behave the way they do. It's a fascinating. So then after that, we'll go into March's International Women's Month. So I have two people I've known for a long time. Or just wonderful people. We're going to talk about how do you eliminate gender bias in organizations. And they have tons of experience with this kind of stuff. So that's what's coming on the pipeline. So I appreciate, you know, actually that and how do we try to do this kind of stuff. I don't know if you have any questions concerning observations.
Did have one on the chat.
What's that?
I did have one in the chat, Brandon. Was wondering if we could get a copy of the slide deck. Is that part of?
I'll send it out.
Yes, sir, Brandon, it's coming.
It's just thoughts. I mean, it's
Perfect, thank you.
the stuff I learned is that true. So you try to learn from, yeah, I should learn that. Just, monitoring is important. Should be a good dialogue. You ever go to the performance review and people are like, all I hear about is the stupid stuff. That's true. That's it's a good conversation. So. But just connect common sense to common practice, work hard, and let people really care about it. It's a great business. So. That's it. It's 3:00. Class is off. Yeah, thanks for the time.
Didn't get 1 or 2 out.
You remember when
Didn't get 1 or 2 out of the way. Appreciate you coming.
Yep, done one for the week.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So you can just leave.
Just go leave, okay.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that makes watching. Sure. Never leave. I did. Great.
Several teams challenge. So.
So